Hi, my name is Emily Ewing and I've returned with the always awesome Carol Hodge to talk about all things music, and today we'll be sharing some stories about our experiences in music, the good, the bad and the downright ugly. And we've also both asked people on our social media to send us questions to answer, which we'll be doing a little Q&A at the end of this. So, hello Carol.
Hello.
Hello.
Feeling nice and cosy.
Oh yeah, it is.
Sort of
my heater's on.
It's freezing. I've literally just come in my office and it's cold, so I'm just like, get the radiator on.
I thought we'd dive right in and go with the funny or embarrassing stories that have happened during a live performance or a recording session.
Funny or embarrassing? Usually lots of the same. I do remember one time when I was on stage, and this is quite a few years ago, and the band started a song and I started singing an entirely different song, and they were like, no, it's this one. I was like, all right, got it, yeah. And it happened again, and then it happened a third time, and I don't know what happened to my brain. I was just like, obviously I conflated these two songs in my head, even though I'd written them in my head. I was just like, they're quite similar, aren't they? Yeah, those two. And I just kept singing the other one. And I was just like, oh no, it's that one, right? I know what I've done now. And it's like, nope, just happened again and again. So
and again, what happened though? Did you just stop that song entirely, or did you suddenly come back and was like,
I think in the end someone else in the band made an executive decision to just move on and do a different song. Yeah, because obviously I couldn't cope with it. Yeah, so over to you. I'll think of another one.
I've got many. I think when we were sort of planning this chat, both you and I were sort of like, many stories about sick involved. Obviously, like, I had terrible stage fright, so being sick or trying not to be sick on stage was quite a big thing. But no, I've tripped up on stage before while walking from, onto the stage, and people were like, ha ha ha, like laughing. And one of my favourite stories is I was playing the piano midway through a song, a bit like, obviously not the same microphone, but a setup like this, and the mic just went doosh onto my piano, and I stopped and I was like, I just picked it back up and carried on playing.
I think that's the way you have to deal with it, isn't it? You have to see the humour in the situation. I remember once I was in a play when I was a bit younger, and I was doing this romantic scene with like the leading male, and we just got to like the bit where we're like declaring that we'll stay true to each other, and then this massive poster just flopped off the wall. And we were both just paused and then turned to look at exactly the same time, and then looked at the audience, and then just carried on, and it got a laugh sort of thing. But yeah, I think you just have to
go with it.
Yeah, find the humour. Do you know? Yeah, I mean, most of my horrendously embarrassing situations have luckily been off stage, because that's when I've historically been a little bit wildly behaved, shall we say?
Wild.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always sober now, but one thing I always did do quite well was to stay sober while playing most of the time. Didn't every time. Yeah. In fact, the last time I got drunk at all was almost 3 years ago, and it was on stage, and it was with Ryan, and apparently I was just I don't have any recollection of it whatsoever, but apparently I was just all over the place, and they were literally like, we're just going to have to
stop her.
Can we just turn it? I think they actually said to the sound, can you just turn her right down? Because I was just thought I was awesome. I don't know if you've seen things like, there's an episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And they go to this high school reunion. And first of all, you see it from their perspective, and there's like a song comes on, and they all do this amazing sort of choreographed dance. And then you see the reality of it, and they're all hammered and they're just flailing around, and it's really embarrassing. So I think in my head, I was like the first one, and I was just like, yeah, I'm totally rocking this. I'm really into it tonight. But I was just like, just like hammering the wrong chords and stuff, and just bringing shame upon myself.
Get her.
Yeah, literally one of those old-fashioned music hall hooks.
Bodyguards. taking you away.
That's the thing I did, actually. Now you said about bodyguards. One time, not at my gig, but at Rebellion Festival, I decided that I was the official dancer for a band called Capdown, and I got up on stage. They were playing like this, big arena venue, and I got up on stage and just started doing this ska dance, and they were like, didn't even really know who I was. And then I fell flat on my ass, and the stage manager literally was like a ramp. He just grabbed one of my legs and dragged me down this ramp, which is probably quite a sensible thing to do. So usually I bring disgrace to other people and to myself, but just during someone else's set, I don't.
It's fine. It's like the Happy Mondays, isn't it? It's like
chaos.
Baz from the Happy Mondays.
Bez, yeah.
Bez. Yeah. Sorry.
I used to teach his son.
Oh, did you?
Interesting little bit of knowledge, yeah. Jack. It's lovely.
I just thought of one as well. When I was also on stage, a drunk man, an older drunk man came on stage, and he was like, "I'm your granddad." And I was just like, okay, what do you do?
Yeah.
I've had to be kind of coerced away. But,
did someone come and get him?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's like a blur, but I do remember.
Yeah.
He was like,
your grandma
my granddaughter, and I was like,
took him away.
No.
I've had people, and this has happened on more than one occasion. I've been playing a gig, maybe in like a bar or somewhere where there's not a proper elevated stage. I've had people come up to me mid-song and just start talking to me and asking me questions, and I'm just I'm kind of quite busy right now. Can it wait till later?
Yeah.
It's a weird one.
That's funny. It's just people. But best or worst advice you've ever been given so far in music?
You go first on that. I need to think about it.
Some of the best advice, and it's something that I live by as well. If there's no opportunities, you make your own.
Yes,
I think that's really important.
DIY or die. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that should be a t-shirt. It's just very true, because obviously work as a self-employed musician and stuff, it's not always guaranteed, and so sometimes it's just making up your own opportunity, even if it's just writing a song that day or whatever,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, piece of advice that I got was off oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. He's like a really famous Australian actor. He's in the series Fringe. He plays Walter Bishop in Fringe. His name's just escaped me, which is really annoying. Anyway, my partner got me a cameo from him for my birthday. And he told me a story in the cameo about when he was at art school, and he had a friend called Marge, and the tutor, Marge was always deliberating over every single little detail and always procrastinated because she was so worried that what she did wasn't good enough. And in the end, the tutor's advice was just put some bloody paint on it, Marge. So I now have that in my office on the wall. Just put some bloody paint on it, Marge. As a reminder that just do stuff. Just do something.
Just do it.
Even if it's not, just write something or just rehearse.
Absolutely.
Or every day do something that is helping you to be better, and stop worrying about it being perfect.
Absolutely.
And somebody else gave me some advice when I was on tour in America, and I was playing this, probably the biggest gig that I'd ever played in Los Angeles, and I was really nervous about it. And he just said, Carol, what you got to remember is that the audience want you to do well. They want it. They want to enjoy themselves, and they want it to be a really good show. They're on your side. Don't think they're not. And that really stuck with me, because I'd never really thought about it like that before. And not that I consciously felt pitted against an audience, but just that reminder of they've paid money, they want to have a good time.
Absolutely,
they don't want it to be really horrible, So
and I think also this maybe more cover life, but also people don't really care for that long either.
Yeah.
Like if when there is a mishap on stage or something, it's just
yeah, I've got a lot
unless it's
better
like
at that. yeah, but like yeah, just getting over it. If you make a mistake, just literally get over it. Like if I make a mistake, I'm literally over it in about 5 seconds now. Whereas previously, it just ruined the gig, you know. And then afterwards, if anybody said anything good about the gig, I'd just be like thinking that they were making it up because I'd made that clanger in that one song or whatever. But like I said, nobody cares. Well, you're not as
I've had
important.
some really horrific like throat cracks as a singer. You're like, like, and you're sort of like, oh no, or you don't hit the note, which has happened a few times as well at gigs, and you're like, oh no, but don't really. It's like you said, it's us that tends to be like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I've done
forget about it the next day.
I've done entire gigs like out of tune. You know, because I couldn't hear properly. I couldn't hear the guitars. It was just really bassy and really loud, and I just couldn't pitch properly. But now I just it doesn't worry me. I used to have massive anxieties about pitching because of that. Because I saw some footage back and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like totally out of tune for the whole gig. Yeah. But you know, it happened, and you know, it hasn't happened for a long time.
I think that's something people aren't aware of as well, is the sound on stage is completely different from in the audience.
Yeah,
completely
absolutely.
Different.
Yeah.
Like we hear like a kind of noise, and then the audience might hear like a clearer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Version of that, so.
And that's the truth. No matter what size venue you play, you know, if you play to like 3,000 people. You still got a rubbish sound on stage a lot of the time. You know, you can't. You sort of think you get to a certain level and you're like, it's going to be great now. I'm going to be able to hear everything brilliantly. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. Yeah. You got to always keep on top of your monitor mix. It's difficult.
Next story. A question. Have you ever been told that music isn't a real job or you weren't good enough for music?
Oh, yeah. Numerous times.
Who hasn't? Yeah.
I remember. I remember when I was really young. I really liked drawing and art, and I really wanted to be an artist. And then I remember my mum saying a comment, something like, "Oh, does that mean that you'll be, you'll only be rich when you're dead?" You know. But that sort of attitude. You know, was all around me when I was a kid. I think it depends on, you know, if you don't come from a musical or an artistic family, and again massively generalising, I think it's more sort of working class background families where if you've not had any sort of artistic jobs in your family before, it's kind of not really perceived as how are you going to make money out of that? You know, it's not likely that you're going to be massively successful. So just train to do something else. You know, and I don't blame anyone from that. It's just a cultural thing. And I've been told plenty of times that it's not a proper job, and I internalised that for a very long time. It's literally only in the past couple of years that I've allowed myself to believe that it is a proper job and that I do deserve to do it, and that I have worked hard enough to get to the level that I'm at, and I do deserve to continue to do it. So it's a weird one. You internalise so much when you're a musician.
I think it demonstrates also people's attitudes towards like the arts, that it's not worthy of so and so. And something that a question that I get a lot is like, well, you can't make money from that. Well, how much do you make from that? But you wouldn't necessarily ask someone in an office how much they make. Like, it's really weird that when you do creative stuff, people are really like, you make money from that?
Yeah, and
it's a really odd question which you wouldn't say to anybody else of any other.
But you know, but like you say, I felt for most of like my musical career that I don't deserve to make money out of it, and that it's not a proper job that I deserve to be paid for. And that's nonsense. But like, I mean, it's a wider societal attitude as well, isn't it? And you know, the pandemic has proven that the whole thing about Fatima can work in tech. You know, the photo of the ballerina.
Yeah.
It's like, you're just going to have to retrain, love. Being a ballerina, that's not a proper job. There's a pandemic going on. Go and work in IT. It's like, what a ridiculous attitude.
Absolutely ridiculous.
But you know, it all comes down to capitalism and money, doesn't it? It comes down to, it's the same with education and the same with healthcare. It's like, well, these things, they don't generate profit in the same way, so therefore they're not valuable. Even though, actually I say that, but you know, the arts and entertainment generates a huge amount of profit.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah.
for the country, you know, for the GDP, it's a massive chunk of it. But yeah, it gets lumped in with those things of like, oh, well, what's the point? What's the point of spending years training to be a musician?
For free. Yeah.
You know, it's ludicrous.
And people do kind of, I mean, not everybody, because I know some people that support artists through and through, but generally it's kind of people expect it for free or...
Yeah, and there's that analogy, isn't there? I mean, I got asked last week. Somebody was like, "Oh, will you come and do this? You know, I can't pay you." And I was just like, it involves me travelling for an hour to go and play a couple of songs at an event that I don't know anything about and I don't know how many people are going to be there. And you're telling me it's not paid, but that I should somehow feel grateful and want to go and do it. And I was just thinking, you know, if you draw the analogy between, oh, you're a plumber, can you come round and fix my toilet? There's no paying it.
For free, yeah.
For free. Because that's what you do. You should feel lucky that I'm asking you to fix my toilet. It's like, it's a skilled job. You should be paying people for doing skilled jobs.
I don't know what will change with it, to be honest. Because that seems like that's kind of just always been... I mean, I don't know if it's... This might be a completely different like tangent, but I don't know if it is just like the streaming culture. I know we kind of touched upon it in one of our previous webisodes about social media. I don't know if just consuming stuff's just completely different or if that's always been the attitude towards music. Because people would go out and buy a physical CD.
Yeah. I think it's...
I'm wondering if it's a streaming kind of...
Yeah, because there's that sense of like, well, I pay for Spotify and all the music's free on there, so why should I buy your CD? Yeah. I think the majority of people who do buy, you know, CDs and vinyl off independent artists, there's a lot of altruism tied up within that. There's a lot of desire to support independent artists, and it's people who kind of understand, who get what it's about, and those people are gold dust. You know, they're really, really important to keeping our scene alive. Yeah,
it needs to be kept alive, please.
Yeah, yes.
Don't let creativity die. I again, like you, just not necessarily family at all, because I've had a very supportive family. But from other people, like, get kind of told like that's not a real job. Well, you can't make money from that. And I've also many years ago, the company shall not be named, but I went applied to do some session singing. Did like the audition for it, went to a studio, and it was kind of I suppose with session singing, it was for adverts, by the way. It's not like an album. There has to be like a level of acting in your voice, like you're portraying like something. But yeah, just basically at the end of the audition, the guy was just like, session singing's not for you. Essentially, like, you're not very good at it. And maybe at the time, maybe I wasn't ready to do it, but like he was really quite rude about it.
Yeah, that is very rude.
I wouldn't approach like, who's like, no, it's not, no.
You can just say, if somebody does a bad audition, you can just say, thank you, we'll be in touch, because that's what everyone else does. Not. I wonder if he felt that he could say that to you because you were female. I wonder if he would have said that to a male singer.
Probably not.
What age was he? Was he a lot older?
Older, yeah.
See, this is the other thing about our industry is there's so many... Oh, this is a thing. You know, you're saying about people giving you bad advice. I've lost count of the number of times I've done a gig and people have come up to me and they've said something along the lines of, "Oh, you know what would be really good? You should do some more covers." And I'm just
Ew.
like, but I'm a songwriter and this is what I do. And I really struggle because I keep questioning myself. I keep catching myself trying not to be snobby. And I don't think it is a snobbery. It's just a different world. It's just a different thing. Being in a covers band and then being an original songwriter and performing your songs in a band or on your own or whatever. It's really different. It's not the same.
Very different.
It's not the same set of skills. It's not the same audience. And yeah, I really struggle with those two worlds, and people thinking that they're doing me a favour by saying like, oh, you should do some covers. Like, oh, yeah, that'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? It's like, oh, yeah, I never thought of that. Thanks,
No.
Jean. You know,
Gene.
and it's like, yeah.
But it's again the value of music, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what
We've
I mean.
heard
It's
this
like,
song, we can go out and play, well,
Yeah.
I'm going to say a CD, but download it, listen to it anytime. But there you
Yeah.
are, have an experience of a song that's never been heard before and written, that someone's taken the time
you
to
don't
do
know
from the
it.
heart.
I've not heard this one before. I'm not interested, you know.
I can't sing with that.
Yeah, can't sing along to this one. I don't know it, and it's like, ugh, yeah, fine. Like, you know, it's just whatever you want to do on a Saturday night. If you want to go and watch a covers band, that's absolutely fine. But don't go and watch an original singer-songwriter and then presume to tell them that they're doing it wrong. You know, what I mean? It's like, come on, Jean.
Or the X Factor.
Oh
That's
yeah,
one,
that as well. Oh, you should go on X Factor. It's like, should I? Can't imagine it. Anything more depressing.
Yeah, if only they knew how it worked. But also,
Yeah.
story. I auditioned for Britain's Got Talent. Again,
Tell me
1,000
about
years
that.
ago.
How was that?
Yeah, I just had like an email from a researcher, and their job is to scour the internet to find
Yeah.
and suspecting like musicians or like magicians to take part in Britain's Got Talent. And got
Musicians,
this email.
magicians,
Magicians,
kind of the
same
same,
thing.
aren't they?
Yeah. Rabbit out of a hat. Yeah, and I just thought, like, why not? You know, but I think what a lot of people aren't aware of is before you get put in front of Simon Cowell or the judges, you have to go through a producer's round.
Yeah.
Which is the round that I did. Did an original song
Yeah.
and didn't hear anything. But I think they kind of already know the winner or someone that they have in mind to win as well. But you do have to go through like a TV producer's round. You know, that's why you often get like people that aren't so good. And then that just, for me, brings it like you know, making that person feel like they're good to get on TV, and then you're just humiliating them.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of
And
that now.
everyone's like, no, the cost.
It's really bullying behaviour a lot of the time, and I really don't like it.
Yeah.
I think it's horrible. On the topic that I actually auditioned for Girls Aloud.
Did you?
Yeah, 20 odd years ago.
Oh,
And
wow.
obviously didn't get into Girls Aloud, but I did get to sing in front of Jerry Halliwell and Pete Waterman and what's he called? The Irish guy who managed Westlife and stuff. I can't think of his name.
Louis Walsh.
Louis Walsh, yeah. And
Walsh.
Jerry
Yeah.
Halliwell laughed at my hand difference. So yeah, I've been very she's kind of revealing herself to be a bit of a strange person anyway now these
Boycott.
days. But yeah. It was really a weird situation. But that situation made me realise that I mean that was when the format was in its infancy. There'd been pop stars where Here Saying Liberty X came from, and this was the second one where it was Girls Aloud, who obviously became very successful, and then there was some boy band as well who just kind of disappeared. But yeah, just the way that it was all, they were obviously pushing towards either some, the cheeky girls I think were on that same series, or it's like somebody who's just I don't like it, and I think it's. I think the reason I don't like it is that because of the bullying behaviour that I just find really distasteful and really, childish and narrow-minded. But also because they have such a narrow band of what they think is good and what they think is acceptable.
Yeah.
You know, you don't, it's like it's pop music every time, isn't it? Even like Britain's Got Talent, like it's, I mean, to be honest, I don't watch any of them, so I could be completely wrong. But yeah, I just think it's very, very formulaic and very narrow-minded.
Or even things like I think like Susan Boyle annoyed me, and that's when I kind of stopped watching it. Phenomenal voice, but because someone looks a certain way.
Yeah.
Or she can't automatically could see they're kind of laughing at her when she came out, and then obviously she's gone on to do really well.
Yeah. It's just
but that always kind of riled me, because it's just like, doesn't you have to look a certain way to be able to sing?
Yeah, you can't see what she looks like when you listen to her CD. You know? It's just lowest common denominator nonsense. Don't
And people
like
think it's the music industry as well, and it's not. It's TV.
No, and that's the thing about the music industry. There's like there's so many niches that you can explore as an artist and that you can fall into. You know, it's not. You know, you could have. I'm just trying to think of a good example. But you know, like really prog musical instrumental stuff. You know, there's a huge scene for that, and there's loads of people who would come and see you, and there's loads of people who would buy your records, but you wouldn't do very well on Britain's Got Talent.
It's very targeted. Audience. So, that's like
yes.
But yeah, we'll do a Q&A time. Yay!
Cool.
So yeah, we want to say thank you for everyone who sent us both questions to answer. There's been a good mixture. Chosen a few to do. I'll find them now and pull them up and
enough questions that it wasn't embarrassing to ask for questions as well. There's always that risk, isn't it? It's like, anybody got any questions for us? Zzz, like radio silence. Like, oh.
Let me see. If you could be any other singer or musician, who would you be and why? There's no name above that one.
Freddie Mercury.
That's mine.
Oh my God, really?
That's mine.
I watched that programme about him the other night that's on Netflix at the moment. It's the...
the Inside the Mind of... Yes, I really want to watch that.
The format of it drove me absolutely up the wall, but I thought it was quite interesting. Learning about how... You know, the whole extrovert, introvert type thing. But just to have his... What I really like about him as a vocalist is he just went for it. Like, and you hear takes of him in the studio and he goes off key and like he doesn't hit the notes, but he just goes for it. And the times he does hit them, it's, you know, absolutely magic. And I think just having that ability as a vocalist to just like really push yourself and not be scared to fail. I think that's what I admire most about him. Yeah. And just that energy that he's got in his tone as well is just remarkable.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of a kind. He's just like such a legend and as a songwriter and so. Love you, Freddie.
I wonder what that says about us that we both went for a man as well.
Well, we like moustaches.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd love to grow one. Been working on it. Yeah,
look at mine. Yes. The next time we do this, we should paint like moustaches.
Yeah, just for the hell of it.
With that, but
why not? Why not? I'm sure there's plenty of other people that I'd be as well. But yeah, he was the first one that sprung to mind.
He's just the best. Louise McDonald asks, for you, do you face more discrimination as a female musician or as a disabled one?
That's a really good question. I don't know, is the honest answer. Because I've never known whether people's reaction and attitude towards me is because I have a hand difference, or because I'm a woman, or for some other reason. Maybe I've upset them in a previous life or something. I don't know. So I've always been aware of having been treated differently, but I've never been fully sure why. Yeah. So, yeah.
Another question is... Oh, there's some cat ones.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Let's see. Gareth Allsop, if your cat could choose its own clothes, would you let it loose with your credit card?
Well, I don't have a credit
cats,
card. I've got 3 cats.
Oh,
there's an old lady called Barbara. She's down here actually. Would it? I mean, I guess what Gareth's asking there is, do I trust their sartorial taste? I think I would. I mean, I think one of them, Stampy, is a bit of an idiot, and I think he'd probably the kind of person who would buy an hilarious tie and wear it in the office and think he was being quite funny, but other people were just actually a bit embarrassed by his style. But I think Midnight would be, yeah, just really classy. You know, I can imagine that she'd just go for like a really nice like Chanel suit or something like that. You know, and it'd match everything, and she'd be. Yeah, I think she'd nail it in terms of style. Quite understated, but very sophisticated. And Barbara, I've no idea. I don't think she'd be bothered to actually move from in front of the radiator. I think she'd be perfectly safe with my credit card. Yeah.
What are they called? Like a snuggie, like one of those blanket.
A slanket.
A slanket, yeah.
Slanket.
That's for Barbara.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
cozy.
chuck a slanket on her. Yeah. Horrible word, that isn't it?
Slanket. That's funny. Gary Tarling asks, are you going on tour with Ryan Hamilton next year? If not, will you go anyway? That's
like go anyway,
both of us.
Just tag along. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. I mean, obviously Ryan was supposed to be coming over. The plan was to do some gigs this year, but obviously never happened. So yeah, fingers crossed, 2022. And yeah, if I'm not on stage with Ryan, I'll be there heckling from the crowd for sure. Yeah.
Glyn Buckley asks, can you have too much cake? And Glyn, no, there's never such thing as too much cake.
See, I beg to differ. I'm quite funny about cake. I'm really weird about cream. I don't really like it. So it would depend if it was like like a vanilla slice or something. Any amount of that would be too much. If it was like a Vicky sponge, well down with
Love that.
But
Love that.
Yeah.
Or cake.
Very much depends.
Birthday cake.
Yeah.
It does depend. Bakewell tart. Is that a cake?
Yeah, I think a Bakewell tart's a cake. Yeah. I'd class it.
Cheesecake.
Oh yeah, cheesecake, yeah. Yeah.
We guys both like the same.
I'm just like, food.
Lynette72 asks, what inspires you to write good lyrics?
Generally speaking,
just life.
Yeah, life and my continued existential crisis. There's always always something to tap into and explore. Yeah. What about you?
Just life and feelings, and again, in one of our previous webisodes, we speak about songwriting and just whatever's going on at the time. It's a therapy, isn't it? Writing songs sometimes, and it's just
absolutely.
Without bringing the cheese, it's part of who we are. It's second nature almost as well. So it's just
I would agree with that.
What we do, I don't know.
It's like turning a tap on.
Yeah. Fiona Ledgard, what does it feel like when you absolutely sing your heart out?
It's a lovely question. It feels like there's nothing else in the world. It feels like you're connecting with something divine and something mystical, I think.
Yes. Supernatural.
What do you think?
It's when I sing well, it's a great feeling, but like me in the shower, like it's like
Is that your shower singing
the neighbours
voice?
are like
Singing
I'm
in
sure
the
they're begged.
shower.
Sup? I think like neighbours are
So, yeah.
singing into a loafer, like thing on the stick. No, I mean, like, yeah, when you do this probably goes back to like live performance and recording, but when your voice feels good to sing, when it feels healthy, warmed up, that's a great feeling. But there's also times where you just don't hit the notes and it can get a bit frustrating. But when it goes well, it's a great feeling. I can't really explain. Again, that's quite hard to explain. It's like flying. I don't know. I don't even know what flying before.
I think that's why it's why it feels so good when you get those times when it's like you're really just singing your heart out, when it's feeling really good and sounding really good, because it's not a given. You know, you could do exactly the same.
Well, exactly. Yes.
Vocal routine every day, but your voice changes from day to day, so it's not always going to feel great.
Agreed. Yeah.
So when it does, yes, it's magic. Yeah.
Stephen Curry asks, when are you and Carol next musically collaborating, and when's the album out?
Oh, Stephen Curry, the amazing photographer. Stephen Curry.
Yeah. Shout out. Yeah.
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 Great. We both had portraits snapped by him, haven't we?
Yeah. Check out his website.
Yeah. Well, I think I think we should collaborate on another track. I think it's my turn now. I'll think of a song.
Send me something.
Yeah. I'll ask you to have a go on one of mine. Yeah. That's only
A shower
fair,
song.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you add your shower-based performance into this? So it can't be your singing voice. It's got to be, hey, I'm singing like this. That's the one.
Mariah?
That's exactly what I want, yeah. Kermit the Frog does Mariah Carey, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and well, this will be our last one. Cole Jury, I think I've pronounced that right. Nickelback, why? Discuss.
Do you know what? I'm going to stick my neck out here. I think...
Do it.
In the same way... No, I'm being very cautious here. No, I'm going to say it anyway. Right, you know how McDonald's are kind of like the... quite rightfully, the scapegoat for all fast food and like, you know, really unhealthy, terrible, you know, moralistic practice takeaways. I think Nickelback are maybe unfairly the scapegoat for a certain type of American rock band. You know, they're not that bad, are they? You know,
I like them.
I just think it's
people.
You know, I think they want it's just like it's like Coldplay, isn't it? They're kind of the British equivalent of that like Coldplay, Nickelback. It's like, well, they're not that terrible.
Yeah, I don't know what they've done. I'm sure there's some people in the point like, it's this. But the only thing I can think of is just their song Rockstar.
Oh, that's awful.
1 year was just...
That's awful. I don't like that.
Which just played and played and played and played and played.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought... That's why I might not like them, but maybe I'm wrong.
But it's like, you can't put an entire band's career on one song. I think that's a bit unfair. And again, it's that bullying behaviour, isn't it? It's like, we're going to laugh at Nickelback. Oh, Nickelback are terrible. It's like, come on, be a bit more inventive with your put-downs.
Yeah.
You know, find a band who really deserve it and then stick the knife in. Just, you know.
Go for someone who deserves it.
Yeah.
No, I think they're... it's like with any musician or famous or otherwise, they have good songs and they have not so good songs to me.
Yeah. Well, Queen are a great example. Look at a lot of Queen albums. I mean, I don't know about you, but Hot Space, what was that about? There's like one, you know, it's got Under Pressure on it, and that's it. Like the rest of the album, it's like, forget it. And that's what, you know, and then obviously, you know, amazing greatest hit style songs, but that's what being a band's about. You got to have album tracks. And some people love the album tracks. Some of the album tracks are amazing.
Some more than others,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, Nickelback unfairly maligned.
They're all
in my
right,
eyes. Yes.
Yeah, they'll make a massive comeback and everyone will be like, we love Nickelback.
Yeah, it'll all be forgotten, won't it? If they you know, they get on like a cool movie soundtrack or something, it'll be like, I've always loved Nickelback. Like, shut up.
Chad. Yeah.
Leave Chad alone.
Yeah. You'll be uncool for not liking them then.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
We'll show you. Well, I won't, but yeah. Well, that concludes it. Thank you for chatting with me again today, and thank you for everyone who sent in their questions. We have previous episodes or webisodes that you can check out on my YouTube channel. Our social media will be linked up. Until next time, Carol.
Yeah, I think I've been a bit ranty today. Sorry, I've just been like, do you know what? Do you know what I think? You know, but yeah, lovely to chat to you.
We love that. Goodbye, all.
Bye.
Bye.